Hey everyone, it's Paige Evans, and I hope you had a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I want to walk you through my December Daily 2017. I went with an untraditional style this year. I made this Coptic book last December and decided to make my December Daily in it. It is chunky and eclectic, and it even makes noise because I tied jingle bells into the binding. So this was a fun challenge for myself because I had to keep the embellishments to a minimum, at least the dimensional ones, and I just want to walk you through. So I have tied a ribbon to keep it shut, and we'll undo that and make our way through the album. All right. On the first page, I die cut one of my cut files from the Silhouette store and backed it with lots of pattern papers, all the colors. I love using non-traditional pinks and blues and yellows throughout my album. Also, all of the papers are pattern papers, but I wanted to tone down the backgrounds in some cases, and so I whitewashed it and then added watercolors using the smudging technique before adding my die cut on top. I also love having all the tabs and strings hanging out. I don't know, I love the way that looks. So you will see a lot of that throughout the album as well. On the second page, I included a lot of full page photos for dramatic effect, I guess. Sometimes they're really important and I just wanted the picture to tell the story. This is one of the thickest embellishments that I used. It's a wooden peace sign. And then after that, I was like, well, I need to use thinner embellishments or else this album is never going to close. I wrote some journaling on a transparency using a special white pen and then added a couple stickers. On the next page, another full page photo, but I also added a smaller one on top. Rachel the cat always sits under the tree as soon as it's up. That's just what she does. So I always have to document that. Whitewashed the background, added strips of washi tape, and then journaled between. And there's a paper clip at the top. The next page is kind of a grid format. All my photos are just under 2 inches. I created collages in Picasa, 4x6-inch collages, and then sent those photos to Costco. These super cute die cuts are from Brandy Kincaid. I love them. This is about our Christmas decor, and I created kind of a mixed media background up here with modeling paste, so there's textured dots if you can see, and then I created hanging ornaments from baker's twine, pattern paper, cut files, the works. Also throughout the album, you will notice I didn't add numbers like the days because all of the pattern papers, like this was a pink pattern paper, and so I put a pink photo next to it. And so it's more of an art journal and a scrapbook and a mini album instead of a December daily, if you will. So with this pink paper, I chose to use a pink photo, and then I added all the pink embellishments I could find, even wrapped some pink washi tape around the edge. This is about the nativity that my mom made, so she's super crafty, and added sequins to this wreath die cut. On this page, I created a banner using baker's twine and then dangled all kinds of die cuts from it. I used so many different collections, all Christmas themed. I've just been hoarding the collections throughout the years, and I just use what I feel like using. It doesn't all coordinate. Well, I mean, it coordinates because it's using the same colors and Christmas themes, but it's not all from the same collection. And I punched scallops on the edge for a bit of texture. You may have seen this sequin tree all around Pinterest, and so I tried my hand at making one too. And these photos are from Precious Jane working on her December daily at my table with me, so precious. This is about our front porch, decking the halls, and this bow cut file is also one of my designs. documenting the first snow, which happened back in November, but I feel like that always starts the holidays officially in my mind. So I whitewashed the background because these were very colorful pattern papers, and then I die cut my snowflake cut file and did a little bit of layering. These are all flat things though, so it didn't add too much bulk. This is about making gingerbread houses, which I actually wasn't even home for. I was off teaching a class, and I love the layout that design team member Audrey Yeager made using my Christmas Village cut file. She backed them with craft paper to look like gingerbread houses, and so I did the same because it goes perfectly with the gingerbread house. Super cute. Thanks for the idea, Audrey. One of the first nights in December, we went on a walk outside to see all the Christmas decorations. So that was a really fun memory. For the first time in over 4 years, my entire family gathered together and we met at our favorite Thai restaurant in Seattle. And so I turned this photo into a pocket by adhering adhesive only on the edges, and then I made a tag out of craft cardstock. There's some stamping on there using watermark ink and clear embossing powder. Added some pom-pom ribbon at the top, and it just tucks right here at the top. On the right page, I wanted to add some gold embossing, but I guess the paint from the whitewashed background was still wet, so it didn't stamp and emboss completely, but I still like the shimmer and shine from where it did apply. Another one of my cut files, this is the candy cane background, so I cut it from white cardstock, backed it with red cardstock, and then this page is very simple with a little photo of baby Daisy and a sentiment die cut. Here's one of the rare times where I actually added the date. This was December 8th, and it's just me and my little shopping buddy, Daisy. There's room for everyone on the nice list. So this is cousins meeting each other for the first time. This is another one of my cut files, a snowflake background, or a snowflake wreath. It's a partial wreath. The whole thing, you can make it as big as you want. So we thought Jane had an ear infection, so I took her to the doctor. She didn't have an ear infection, but it was so funny because when we went into the room, there were polar bears all over the walls, and she was wearing a polar bear shirt, and even the color of the blue on her sweater just matched perfectly. It was meant to be, so definitely had to be documented. And this is the first time I stitched ribbon onto the edge, so I did that a few more times, and I just love, again, the texture that it adds. Also another paper clip at the top. The polar bear, because this is the polar bear spread. One Saturday in December, I taught a bookbinding class at the BF, which is what we called Ben Franklin when I worked at Yesterday's downtown, my very first job at a scrapbooking store. I used my sewing machine to stitch those scallops. And then Enza from the Pink Paisley design team came, my mom came, so it was really fun to have family and friends there at my bookbinding class. This is my Flourish Christmas tree die cut from white cardstock, and then I added glitter glue on top. There's Enza and there's my mom. This is a scrap lift of Cherie Forcier. She did a guest design spot for Kerry Bradford Studio, and I love how she backed the reindeer with strips of pattern paper and added the lights. And then I used the inside cut file for the right page. This is when I went to the painted plate with Shauna Noel. A whole bunch of journaling on this page. It's a thankful for page, so I wrote all the things I'm thankful for, and in between sentences I added little sentiment stickers for pops of color. This next spread is about our family photos, and it's interactive. So it says open right here at the top, tab, and you open it up, and there's a tag. It's a funny story because I didn't mean to punch a hole through here, but it turned into a happy accident because I had to creatively figure out what to do, and I decided to tie a tag. And that's where I added the journaling. And this background mixed media went through a lot of phases, and I ended up toning it down with whitewash, whitewash, and I like how it toned down the colors to match my dress. Here's a collage of all the photos that we got taken, and then I stitched sequin ribbon down the right edge. So, love that spread, how it's interactive. All right, next spread, we babysat my niece Zoe, and so I die cut a heart, filled it with glitter and then stitched around it, and the journaling is written in a white pen around the edge, and it's also a little bit interactive because there's 2 pictures, flips up. Added more scalloped stitching, or scalloped ribbon to the right edge. We went on a date to see the Nutcracker Ballet, and I created another pocket in which, let's see if I can grab this out. I kept our ticket as well as more photos from our date night and journaling. Just tuck some there. This is another one of my cut files, die cut from white cardstock and covered with blue glitter glue. We went and saw the Nutcracker Ballet in Olympia, which was really sweet and fun. Another large journaling spread. This is about my Instant Pot fiasco. I ruined my brand new Instant Pot in the first 5 minutes. Yeah. And then we used to take Joey to a boarding in Germany, and they called him Hobo Joe because his fur was all splotchy from losing his winter and summer coats, but we got him groomed, and so he's Hobo Joe No Mo. Yay, I got my new collection in the mail. This is my 5th collection with Pink Paisley called Pick Me Up. So definitely had to include that, something to remember. This is my cut and fold Christmas tree cut file, and I backed it with pattern papers from Pick Me Up. Of course, we had to visit Santa. It says Christmas wouldn't be complete without a visit to sit on Santa's lap. So these are Kerry Bradford Studio mini alphabet stamps, and then I colored them in with colored pencils. I saw a layout by Stephanie Reed. She's on my design team. She created wreaths and then added all these colorful little bits from Christmas collections, and so I did the same. I cut a cut file in half and then put them on the edges, and this is all about their Christmas jammies. Most of these little images were fussy cut from 6x6 pattern papers, so they're really tiny. And then I added teeny tiny gold sequins throughout. Speaking of Stephanie Reed again, she sent me the most beautiful advent calendar that she made using my Pink Paisley supplies and cut files. This is also one of my cut files that I almost threw away because I couldn't figure out what to do with it, but then after coloring it with colored pencils and backing it with vellum and glitter, I decided it was pretty cute, so I added it here and then did some journaling about how special it was to pick this up at the post office. I nearly cried when I opened it. It's just so sweet. Added some pom-pom trim to the edge. Next spread, just a couple photos and a sticker border. And then this is when we were on our way driving to Wallace. It was very snowy. So we spent our Christmas in Wallace with my entire family. I created 2 pockets from the photos and then wrote journaling on tags and tucked them right into the pockets. There's an arrow so you know to flip over. On this page, once again, I'm very inspired by Stephanie Reed's mini albums, as you will see. I saw she had an interactive flap, so I created 2 flaps. This is from when we ate lunch at the Blackboard Cafe, and I got a grilled cheese apple slices sandwich. It was so good. That same day, we went to dinner at Casa de Oro and created another flap, and this is the story about how I was shoving some strange somebody else's kid out the door. I thought it was my kid, and I was nudging them out, and then I looked down and it wasn't my child. Oops. It was a bit chaotic. There's 12 and a half of us. Not my half. Tanya's expecting a baby. Anyway, I used a stencil to create this kind of a snowflake doily pattern and then added journaling around the edge. Here's a full page photo of Wallace. It's like being transplanted into the Cars movie and Radiator Springs. So I added these sequin rows and then journaling. This is a sticker cut in half, just placed it at the top and bottom, and then I used pinking scissors to trim the edge. Again, always for texture. My mom bought all the girls plaid pajamas. So this is my font, one of the 2 fonts I have in Silhouette right now. backed it with pattern paper. And then a view of Wallace from above. It was a winter, we had a white Christmas, which is funny because at our home in DuPont and in Redmond, it was the first white Christmas in years, maybe even decades. So it's just funny that we had a white Christmas everywhere. Lots of blue embellishments going down to reflect the blue in the photo. We are all about the Christmas Eve traditions, and so to fit them all on one page, I printed my photos really small and then made interactive flaps. So I first attached them with washi tape, but the washi wasn't staying very well, so then I went and stapled them in place and then printed really tiny journaling. One of my very favorite traditions is watching the X-File episode, How the Ghosts Stole Christmas. And here's an introduction page to our Christmas day. Some cute die cuts and me and cute little Jane. Oh, I wrapped washi tape around the edges here, so that's really colorful. Fox drew me cute pictures of Christmas things, and then here he is in the snow. Finally, on our last day of being together, we got a big family photo. Cut it in half so that it would fit across the two pages, and then did my journaling around the edge. I did a whitewash first so that it would stand out against the pattern paper backgrounds, and then did little clusters of Christmas embellishments in 4 places. So this is a story that I didn't really want to embellish too much because it's not very happy. It was about the train derailment in DuPont. This happened, again, this is very out of order, but this was a black pattern paper spread that I had towards the back. And so even though this incident happened towards the middle of the album, it's one of the last pages, just because I thought it was fitting for the black background. Yeah, so the train derailed about 2 minutes from our house, and it was really sad and just needs to be remembered. Back to the merry festivities. This is about Christmas Day. Punched photos into pennants, and I also punched pattern papers. And then I did the sewing outside first and then glued them in. Jane drew me a picture too. And then I created another pocket by only adding adhesive around the edges, and then wrote journaling on a tag to tuck into the pocket. We went sledding on Christmas Day, and I think it was even more fun than opening presents. I don't know. Most of this trip I just stayed inside because I'm not a fan of cold. I love snow, but I only love looking at it. But once I was all bundled up in my in my snow gear and working out, right, going up and down the hills, I was warm and it was so fun. And I used my Polaroid banner cut file and printed my photos tiny, and then added journaling in a few more spots. Stapled stars on the top edge to be a page turner. And Grandma got the girls all matching Christmas jammies. And it's more pink, so I used a scalloped punch on this edge, and then I threaded ribbon through, and it opens up to reveal more photos of the girls. Poor Zoe was not having it. I just thought they were so cute. We are almost done, friends. This next page is another scrap lift of Stephanie Reed because she is so inspiring. She made a layout. Sorry, I'm having a hard time using 2 hands to keep this open. I need 3. She did this magical word on her layout and fussy cut around it, so I did the same thing, and I love how it peekaboos to the Christmas tree. On this side, there are photos of Fox and Jane in front of the Christmas tree, and on the back, pictures of me and Daisy. And then I kept some of the tags and memories from all of our family together in Wallace, so that's tucked in there, and it's sentimental. All right, the very last page, some journaling about how once again this next year is going to bring about a lot of change. We're moving to Colorado, and next Christmas, I don't know where we'll be, but it won't be here, but I know wherever Chris and the kids are, that's where home is. So I loved this mini album, this December daily. I love how chunky it is. But next year I'm definitely going with the traditional pocket page or something where I can add dimension, because I love adding dimension. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.